Welcome, everyone. My name's Caroline Smith. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the director of programs, and I will let the rest of the team introduce themselves as well. And we are recording today, just as a disclaimer. So if you don't want to be on the recording, feel free to turn your camera off. But this way we can share with any folks who are not able to join us. Kaylee, over to you.
Thanks, Caroline. I'm Kaylee Valencia. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I am the program manager, operations strategist at AGF, and I am in Houston, Texas. I will pass it to Gabby.
Hello. Hello, everyone. I'm Gabrielle Slaughter. My pronouns are she, her. I am the lead program manager, HBCU strategist, and I'm coming from Los Angeles, California. I'm going to pass it to Mia.
Thanks, Gabby. My name is Mia Matthews. I am the Program and Communications Manager. I use she, her pronouns, and I am in Boston, Massachusetts.
All right, so we always start our orientation really grounding ourselves in AGF's legacy story. It's incredibly important to us and to the work that we do. So going to go through a little bit of history. Some of you probably know a bit about this already. Some of you might not have heard about it. So our story is born out of the Freedom Summer of 1964. So this was the height of the civil rights movement as the Civil Rights Act was under attack by segregationists in Congress. Andrew Goodman, James Earl Chaney, and Michael Schwerner were three volunteers who set off to join the Freedom Summer of 1964 alongside hundreds of other volunteers from across the country, many of them young folks. And the Freedom Summer was a project of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, basically to train and deploy volunteers from all over the country to register Black voters in Mississippi and resist the voter suppression tactics that were so heightened at the time. So James Earl, Andy, and Mickey were some of the first volunteers to go out that summer, embarking on what they knew was an incredibly dangerous journey to investigate the burning of a church in Mississippi, a church that was set to be one of the sites that would host freedom meetings and freedom schools. They never made it to the church. They were intercepted by police, kidnapped, and brutally murdered by the KKK, though their bodies wouldn't be found until 44 days later. And the story of these three young men really struck a public chord that eventually contributed to the passage of the Voting Rights Act of 1965, among other things. And that act changed the voting rights landscape for the following decades, and is responsible for many of the things we experience today, but also is very much under attack today. So this past summer has been the 60th anniversary of Freedom Summer, so it's been a huge year for us. Many of the landmark days that we observed, like the day that James, Andy, and Mickey traveled to Mississippi and disappeared, the day their bodies were found, many of those happened over the summer, but at this time, 60 years ago, the Freedom Summer movement was very much still underway. Throughout September in 1964, so exactly this time 60 years ago, there were ongoing threats, bombings, arrests, and attacks on Freedom Summer volunteers and organizers, but also the work continued. There were ongoing meetings, ongoing Freedom Summer education and voter registration efforts. So in this ongoing legacy of Freedom Summer and in honor of Andy's participation in it, Andy's parents, Carolyn and Robert Goodman, founded the Andrew Goodman Foundation in 1966, just 2 years later, with a vision that young people would become active, engaged as citizens who ensure a just democracy and sustainable future for everyone, just like Andy, James, and Michael did. And it continued as a family foundation over many decades, largely commemorating anniversaries and hosting events and marches with Freedom Summer and civil rights veterans. But the Vote Everywhere program that you all are joining or continuing to be a part of today started 10 years ago. So I will pass it over to Mia to talk a little bit more about what Vote Everywhere looks like today.
Yeah, thank you, Caroline, for grounding us in that, a very important story. Andrew Goodman Vote Everywhere is a national nonpartisan civic engagement movement of student leaders and university partners. The program provides extensive training resources, and a peer network to support our Andrew Goodman ambassadors while you work to register voters, bring down voter barriers, and tackle important social justice issues that you all care about on your campuses. The Andrew Goodman Vote Everywhere program was helped by Andy's brother, David Goodman, and his wife, Sylvia, in 2014. And throughout these 10 years, we have worked with 88 colleges and universities who have collectively mobilized and impacted over 1.5 million people. So we'll move along to the structure of our campus teams. And each semester is 12 weeks long. And we always start off with an orientation and a kickoff call once you're back on campus. Every semester we meet with the program manager and we end the semester to debrief and then prepare for the next one. So then for the structure, we have Andrew Goodman ambassadors who are our representatives of the Andrew Goodman Vote Everywhere program on your campus. Then we have the campus champions who are staff members or faculty members who are involved in civic or voter engagement efforts on campus who help recruit, support, and mentor the ambassadors. AGF program managers, us four, work with you to help tailor the program to fit your needs, to program it to your campus's culture, policies, and all that. I will pass it along to Kaylee to go over some more specific parts of the program.
Thanks, Mia. As Mia mentioned, the ambassadors are the students that are doing the work on their campuses and in their communities. And to onboard our ambassadors, we ask that they complete the new ambassador form. This form is a Google form that we use to gather all the info that we need from you as a new ambassador in one place. So in this form, we'll ask a few demographic questions, your contact information, and most importantly, we ask that you upload your headshot and biography, which we feature on our website and on your campus's specific My Vote Everywhere page. Additionally, if you are receiving a stipend from AGF and not your campus, you'll need to upload your financial documents like your W-9 form, and if you so choose, your direct deposit authorization form to this Google form as well. So as I mentioned, we give stipends to all of our ambassadors that successfully complete their duties throughout the semester. These stipends are sent out to ambassadors at the end of every Vote Everywhere semester. So usually that's around December in the fall and sometime in May in the spring. As I mentioned, these are given to ambassadors who successfully complete all of the program requirements. And at the end of each semester, ambassadors can elect to receive these funds either via direct deposit or a physical check in the mail. As I mentioned, it sometimes takes a few weeks after the end of our Vote Everywhere semester to process these funds, but we are always happy to provide you a more updated timeline when we get to the end of the semester. I mentioned that some people receive their stipends from their campus, some receive from AGF. If you are unsure who is going to be giving you your stipend, just contact your program manager and they will know, and they will help you on what forms to send to us. I will pass over to Gabby to share more about the Ambassador Handbook.
Hello again, everyone. I'll be going over ambassador expectations. So first, all ambassadors or all campus teams will have consistent meetings with their program manager. In the beginning of each semester, look forward to receiving a Calendly link from your program manager to schedule your biweekly calls for the semester. Campus teams must meet at least 6 or more times throughout the semester. All members or established points of contact are present at all meetings via Zoom. So that would mainly be both ambassadors on each Zoom call. Champions are not required to be on every call, but it is encouraged for them to at least be on like 3 of those calls each semester. Program tracker. Each campus team is required to complete the program tracker after each event and send any photos, event flyers, or quotes to the program manager. We now have it on the program tracker where you can upload photos. So we do encourage that. Ambassadors complete the ambassador survey at the end of the semester and turn over any necessary documents for payments, which would include like your W-9 or your direct deposit information. I'm going to pass it back to Kaylee.
Thanks, Gabby. So for action planning, each academic year, Andrew Goodman campus teams create a campus action plan to guide your work as you engage your campus community and our democracy. So to prepare for the 2024-25 academic year, your campus team should use the Campus Action Plan template as a tool to document the landscape of civic engagement on your campus and dive into goals, strategies, tactics, and the timeline for both the fall 2024 and spring 2025 semesters. Some teams choose to create their plans for a little longer than one academic year, which you are welcome to do. Also, important note, if your campus has already created a campus action plan and sent it in to All In, we will take that action plan as well, so you can send that same one over to your program manager. We are asking that all campus action plans are sent to the program manager by Friday, September 20th. As we all know, the election is quickly approaching, so we want to make sure that all of our teams have robust initiatives lined up to make sure that their campuses are ready for the election and civic engagement outside of November. And we will be giving feedback as needed to campus action plans. So if you have questions, concerns, or need help workshopping, reach out to your program manager so that they can assist you with that. The next piece is nonpartisanship, which is as important as ever. All of your work as an ambassador must remain nonpartisan. That means refraining from endorsing or campaigning on behalf of any particular party or candidate. This is essential to maintaining our 501c3 status as a nonprofit, but it doesn't prohibit us from doing advocacy work like registering voters, doing voter education, and getting out the vote. The Ambassador Handbook, which you're seeing on the screen right now, is a great place and a resource to learn more about nonpartisan best practice. And there is also a frequently asked question table where you can get answers to some questions that come up a lot in our program. But also, if you're ever unsure, please consult your program manager so that we can avoid any sticky situations. Also, in the Ambassador Handbook, we have some trainings and case studies. This is a great place to visit to learn more about topics and best practices that you'll need to know as an Andrew Goodman ambassador. I always encourage all of the teams that I work with to look over the case studies and think about how they may use similar approaches to do institutional projects on your campuses. I'm going to pass it back over to you, Gabby.
Now I'm going to break down how to introduce yourself as an ambassador. It's important to introduce yourself correctly as an Andrew Goodman ambassador. To do so, you can say, my name is Gabrielle Slaughter, and I am an Andrew Goodman ambassador, or my name is whatever your name is. And I am an ambassador with the Andrew Goodman Foundation. To avoid confusion, do not use terms like fellow or intern. An ambassador is considered a volunteer who receives a stipend for their contributions. And this is important when you're speaking to press or anything like that for the school, so that people can know who you're representing when you're advocating or volunteering or whatever it may be. Passing it to Mia.
Thank you, Gabby. Now we'd like to introduce y'all to the communications team at AGF. Mo Banks, who you will get to meet on Monday at a kickoff call, is the director of communications, and I'm also on the team as the program and communications manager. So this is a little overview of what we do. All of what you see on the screen, kind of basic marketing, keeping AGF social media running. What we can do for y'all is help you capture the events that you plan throughout the semester. Instagram takeovers, especially exciting during election seasons. If you're preparing for an interview for a different position or for a future role, we'd love to help you prepare. And writing support with things like op-eds and letters to the editor. Some more tools that are more specific that we can help with communications with are simple texting and My Vote Everywhere. So what you're seeing here is a screenshot from My Vote Everywhere, which every single team has. And it's custom to your campus. So you can have links that are specific for helping to register to vote on your campus, recruiting a poll worker, for example. All these things you see here. And the other tool is simple texting, which is a tool that we'll talk more about again on Monday, but can help you with mass communications and sending text messages to folks on a list where you can send send vote to 563 or whatever the number is, and you can then have folks subscribe, and then you can send reminders about events or deadlines to register to vote or election days, things like that. So Now, on behalf of the entire Andrew Goodman Vote Everywhere staff, I would like to extend a warm welcome to the new members of our Vote Everywhere network. We are so excited to get to know you all as we organize together this year. Congratulations to all of you as you take this first big step in increasing voter turnout on your campuses. Moving along, I'll pass it on to Caroline.
Yes, thank you, Mia. I second that. A very warm welcome to you all. And what you saw on the slides was the names of all of the new folks, new ambassadors and champions who are joining our network this year for the first time, but that is not the entire network. So you are part of a much bigger network of 66 campuses on 25 states and Washington, D.C., and you will see more and more of your fellow ambassadors and champions at the kickoff call and at other events and trainings that we have throughout the year. And we have many other ways for folks to connect to, which we'll get to in a minute. I also want to assure you, I know we went through this kind of quickly and we like to go over really the top level big things that you need to know starting the year in this meeting, but we will send this recording out and we will reiterate all of this many times. So in our weekly emails that your program manager will send to you and all of the campuses they work with, this will be reiterated in our ambassador newsletter, which comes out every week. And it'll also be reiterated in our campus meetings, which will be kind of smaller ways that we can really get into all of your questions, your campus specific needs. So don't feel stressed or worried at all. You don't have to memorize all of this. And also, almost all of this lives in our ambassador handbook, which is a PDF. So we will send that out after as well, and you can save it and look through it all the time. That being said, we mentioned the kickoff call. Want to make another plug for that. The kickoff call is the way we officially start off the semester network wide. So this meeting was for all the new folks. You should also come on Monday to our kickoff call. There will be a little bit of the same kind of reminders, but then also some exciting, updates about AGF, what to look forward to this semester. So if you haven't registered yet, take a second to click that link in the chat and register. And that will also be at 6:30 Eastern on Monday. We have a Slack channel that we use for Vote Everywhere as a space for mainly ambassadors, but also champions to share ideas, plug events that you're hosting, share pictures, and connect with each other. So you see someone post a great event and you're like, I want to do this. I want more information about how they made this happen, or even better, like, I want to collaborate with this team on this thing. You can reach out there. Just a great way to be able to appreciate the full network that we're all part of as we're scattered across the country. So take a second to click that link and join the Slack. We have our action plan timeline we mentioned before. Just as a reminder, please send your action plan to your program manager by September 20th. That should be plenty of time. And for those of you who are new, chances are there are other people on your team, either your champion or a fellow ambassador who is returning and has done this before. But if not, we are here to help, and we'll all work through it together. I'm seeing a question in the chat. Yes, these links will also go out afterwards, and we'll continue. These are the links that we'll continue to send in ambassador handbooks or in our ambassador newsletter and in our portfolio emails. Great question. Okay, last but not least, the civic holidays. So for those of you who are new to the space, the civic holidays are kind of cross organizational efforts and national efforts to rally people around this work. So there's National Voter Registration Day, National Voter Education Week, Vote Early Day, and Election Hero Day. And of course, there's Election Day. And these are efforts where organizations across the country, not just nonprofits and organizing groups like ours, but also schools and churches and, businesses and everyone under the sun can sign up to be partners for these holidays, just to do their part to promote voter engagement and being an engaged an active community member. So we encourage you to sign up as a partner for all of these holidays. You can do it all with that one link that we dropped in the chat. Even if you don't know how you'll celebrate them or if you'll celebrate them, signing up will let you receive resources and graphics and other things that will make it really easy for you. So designate someone on your team to sign up, and then you have the resources and can do the rest of the planning after. And an extra plug for those of you who are in states that don't have early voting, I still highly encourage you to sign up for Vote Early Day, because that's actually a great time to share information and advocate to bring early voting to your state. Plus, you definitely have voters on campus who are from states with early voting. So go ahead, click that link, sign up for all of these. In this work, the more resources, the merrier. And that just about wraps it up.